Army Badger Army, welcome to today's show. Today we're going to be looking at a lovely book that Morgan and Time Bunny sent me a while back, and thank you very much guys for that, it's very kind. I'm really looking forward to doing a bit of a look at this and a review. So this is 60 Years of the Beano and Dandy, focus on the 50s. Now that is insane, isn't it? So the 50s was a time of great change, the end of rationing, the coronation of the present Queen, the beginning of rock and roll music, one of my favourite genres, space exploration, and the introduction of new Beano and Dandy comic characters, with some of them that are still with us today. We focus on Dennis the Menace, Roger the Dodger, the Bash Street Kids, Minnie the Mix, Little Plum, for all who first came to life in the 50s, and are prominently featured in this book alongside long-time favourites such as Desperate Dan, the Smasher, and Corky the Cat. Now Corky the Cat was definitely an old school favourite. Look at that first picture there, look at that. It just brings back some really interesting nostalgia on how the Bash Street Kids first were, wasn't it? I mean, look at that. They're like literally taking over an old ship. And that's the way the Bash Street Kids should be, really causing mischief and trouble. You've got a nice little Roger the Dodger sketch there, which I think is fantastic. Look at that, that's great. And the expression on Roger's face. I don't know if you can see that there, but the art style has definitely changed over a period of time. And if anything, there's actually a lot more art gone into that than the now more simplified style. Definitely Dad's changed, which is interesting. So does that mean that that Roger the Dodger got the Dennis the Menace treatment, and now that the newer Roger the Dodger is the old Roger the Dodger's son? Who knows? So that's very interesting. But yeah, Dad is a clot. Can you imagine seeing that in a modern comic? Wow. So yeah, focus on the 50s. So yeah, some of the stuff that they put in there back in the day is actually a bit cheeky and a bit near offensive. So it's very interesting. 50s fun folk. We've got Bash Street Kids, Roger the Dodger, Gingers, Super Jeep, Tin Lizzie, Lord Snooty, Smasher, Charlie the Chimp, Corky the Cat, Dennis the Menace, Biffo the Bear, Iron Fish, Desperate Dan, Little Plum, Pansy Potter, Fighting Forkbeard, Hungry Horace, Shaggy Doggy, Jonah, Jenny Penny, Angel Face, which I believe is still in it, Angel Face Investigates, isn't it? Charlie Chutney, Minnie the Mix, Red Rory, Plum McDuff, Cat and Canary, Prince Whoopee, The Horse that Jack Built, Shipwreck Circus, Bird Boy, Cocky Sue, and Wee Davy and King Willie. I mean, there's just so much, isn't there? Look at all these lovely examples of all the art. It's just brilliant. And you've got a nice long story there. That's one thing where I think that the Beano and the Dandy have definitely changed, is that they don't really get like a story with art anymore. That was definitely a thing. Even in the 80s and the 90s, you used to get like a story in the book that had art in it, and some of them even had real pictures in of people, and the characters would sort of interact with the people. The Smasher, now he reminds me of a more extreme Dennis the Menace. Looking at this last night, and I was like, wow, he's just like a more evil Dennis the Menace, isn't he? Charlie the Chimp, which is an interesting one. Yeah, like you were saying, they don't really do these stories anymore. But yeah, it'd be interesting if they went back to that format, at least for one time. Yeah. A Day in the Life of a Menace. Oh, let's have a read through that, see what that says. 8 AM wait by mum. 8:01 fast asleep. 8:15 wake by dad. 8:16 fast asleep. 8:30 woken by sleeper. Oh my god. 8:35 go to the bathroom for a thorough wash. 8:36 leave bathrooms. It took him a minute to wash. Okay. 8:40 have breakfast. 8:45 eat dad's breakfast. 8:50 set out for school. 10:30 a.m. arrive for school. 10:31 punished. Start at 10:35 start doing lessons. 10:36 stop doing lessons and start firing inky pellets at teacher. 12:30 p.m. eat my dinner. 12:30 get out of school. 12:35 eat my dinner. 12:40 p.m. eat dad's dinner. 12:42 p.m. get kicked out of house and make sure I reach school on time. So yeah, like the original Dennis was hardcore, man. The original Dennis was hardcore. Oh dear. Oh wow. Now this is something I need to properly look up. Definitely. Nursery crimes. So this is what happened for the original Dennis the Menace when he was a baby. Oh man. Dennis hasn't always been a bad boy. Go on, say you don't believe me, but it's true. Before Dennis was a bad boy, he was a horrible baby. Oh my goodness me. Can you imagine? Dennis the Menace as a little baby. I've got to attempt to draw that at some point. By Dennis's dad. Ah, this is fantastic. Yeah, Dennis the Menace here. Look at that. See, look, this is where it's actually changed, isn't it? These comics, they weren't afraid. You know, nowadays, I think people worry too much about people getting upset. But back in the day, look, he's messing around with people. He's fighting people with guns. And he's smashing up people in a bundle where they're all on like sort of arcades and on rides. It's mad when you think things have changed this quick. But yeah, it's interesting to see like how modern comics change. And I mean, sometimes it is for the best, but I'd love to see the original Dennis cutting up to this sort of cheeky menacing once again. It'd be fun. Oh dear. But yeah, the simplistic art style here is interesting because Roger the Dodger's art style was over the top, wasn't it? But yeah, look at the original Dennis and all the mischief he got up to. Oh dear. And look, they put that this is in this bit. Dennis the Menace has put itching powder over a massive class full of people. Oh dear! But look at this. Look at this. Like the actual artwork to do with Dennis there. He doesn't look like a nice person, does he? The newer Dennis, he looks like a nice person, and even the one that I remember as a kid, he looked like a nice boy, just a bit misguided. This one, he looks like a right toe rag. You know. But yeah, so there's lots of interesting stuff. Look at that face. That's just like pure evil. It's fantastic. But yeah, Dad in disgrace. So Dad gets his own strip even back in the day, which I think is fantastic. Yeah, so I believe Teddy the Bear and Biffo the Bear. There you go. So you got Biffo the Bear and the cat there as well. Oh, you know, I don't remember these guys that much, but it'd be interesting if you guys know much about Biffo the Bear and that. Let me know about that. So the Iron Fish was like a war story. That's interesting. So you wouldn't get that now. I mean, you get those sorts of things in their own separate comics now. I've seen them in WXS, but I don't remember what they're called. I might try and have a look see if I can get one of those just to read them. But yeah, you wouldn't think that. I haven't seen a war sort of action comic in the Beano or the Dandy for years. And so that's very interesting. Little Plum, exactly, that's an interesting one. Haven't seen Little Plum in there for years as well. Desperate Dan. See, I remember Desperate Dan being like the poster boy back in the day, but you barely see him now. And I would have thought that he would have been in the Beano a lot for modern times, but they seem to have really sort of, they only go to visit Dandy Town every now and again. It would have been really interesting if Desperate Dan was in the modern Beano universe. But yeah, I'm hoping they find a way to bring him in and not just for like the special odd occasion. It'd be nice if it was like a full-time thing. And I haven't read a Dan D annual for a while, and I know they're still releasing. Be interesting. Does Banana Man appear in both? Because he's in the Beano universe, isn't he, as it were? So there's lots of stuff about Little Plum here. I really like the artwork style here. It's very old school and gritty. I do like it. What is going on with Desperate Dad's head? Oh, that's mad. But yeah, Pansy Potter. He looks like another version of Dane the Menace, doesn't he? There seems like there's a lot of naughty boys and girls that look quite similar, that have slightly different storylines. So no wonder they sort of took all these different characters and sort of put them into one eventually. You know, it feels like that's what they've done, where they've sort of amalgamated all these different versions of Dennis and sort of calmed it down a little bit and sort of found their way, you know. And look, there's another one. There's another sort of interactive, little readable story, which you don't see nowadays, you know. Yeah. So look, there you go. Every now and again the action didn't focus on the owner of the comic page. Spot the visitors on the Bash Street and Biffo stories. Yeah, that's very true. And as you can see, it's not always Dennis the Menace on the front cover, even back in the day. So that was Biffo the bear there. And it's not always that, is it? The shaggy doggy. You know, this brings back some interesting things. Corky the cat. I'd love to see some of these characters in the more modern versions, you know, even if they change it slightly. But yeah, looks like Angel Face is slightly different here. Maybe it's a character with the same name, or maybe it's the original character's, you know, family or something like that. Be interesting to see if there is a connection with this Angel Face and the newer one in the comic these days. That is something I'd be interested in. Roger the Dodger, one of my favourites. I really love Roger the Dodger. I think he's sort of part of the Beano town is very funny, and some of the storylines he gets himself into is great too. And the one recently where he sort of did a football dodge made me laugh, so you could sit and watch the football. I thought that was great. But yeah, it does seem to be that they changed the art style of Roger a fair bit here. Sometimes he's like really well drawn, as almost like a real child, and other times he's quite comedic. So that's interesting, or simplified. So that's interesting. Yeah, I think, Minnie the Minx, one of my personal favourites as well. Minnie the Minx has to be one of my favourite ones of all time. And look here, slightly different colouring of Minnie the Minx. Instead of Dennis's red and black, she's wearing purple and black there, so that's interesting. I wonder if the original purple and black sweater got ruined and then they got given a new one. Also green and black there as well. Interesting. So that is very interesting that she's actually had different colours. I didn't know that. Yeah, so it's very interesting that she has a different colour jumper here and there, but just always chooses to wear the red and black. Or were they ruined and they did a plot point? So there you go, it's very interesting. Yeah. Wow, look at how Minnie is drawn here. Now that is a very, very different Minnie the Minx to the one we know these days. You know, that sort of art's fantastic. It's very realistic. So, and very different to the modern Beano style. Very interesting. You know, the Bash Street kids, man, these guys are my favourites. And they still are. You know, you got all these guys here, like Fatty and all the others. It's just great fun. You know, I always used to love reading about their naughty adventures. You know, for when the bell rings and all that sort of stuff. It's fantastic. Yeah, so this is a really nice little book with lots of old school comic book strips about the Bash Streets, about Dane the Menace, about all Beano characters in general, of course Minnie the Minx, all these guys, you know, Desperate Dan. This is a really nice little read if you want to go back to some of the naughtier adventures that they can't really put on the comics these days. So yeah, this is an interesting little book if you want to look back at some of the more cheeky adventures. So yeah, I definitely recommend getting this if you can, and it's well worth a read if you're a Beano and a Dandy fan. really enjoyed this, and it's an interesting trip down memory lane, because I'm sure me and my dad used to read some of these. He must have had some of these knocking about. So I remember reading really, really old Beanos at one point, yeah. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Look after yourselves, keep safe, keep well. Much love everyone, and see you in the next vlog video stream. Hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane with this, and it's going to be very interesting to see what you guys think. Have you ever read any of the older Beanos, and what's the oldest character you remember, and what memories have you got towards these books? I'd love to hear from you. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. And I would definitely give this a good 10 out of 10, and it is a lovely book. Thank you very much, everyone. See you later. Bye.